Hi, welcome to Knits Up. I'm Mindy, your hostess, and you'll find me as Knitter CNY over on Ravelry, and you will also find a podcast group over on Ravelry. There's a Facebook page, Google Plus, a whole bunch of places where I am, and I'm on Plurk too. I usually don't post a whole lot over there, but I read everybody's posts, so they're kind of interesting. So this week I have one finished object. These are the BFL Sacks. They are out of Fleece Artist BFL, and the pattern is the Cherry Swirl Socks, which is a free pattern from Fleece Artist. You can kind of see on this one the traveling stitches that kind of go across there. I believe it's an 8-row repeat, something like that, 8-row repeat. So really simple. It's got a little bit of ribbing in between there. But they're really quick, really fast, very warm socks. I haven't washed them or anything yet, but just as I'm holding them, they're squishy and warm. And I had yarn left over too, so that worked out well. And so I've been working on those. Another project that I have been working on for a while is a shawl. This is the Honeysuckle Rose, is the colorway, and it's fiber optic. If I pull and then pull back, that's a truer color. Kind of changes. It's got orange and pink in it, so it's really hard to pick up. It's sort of a melony, it's melon and pink, I guess. This is the truest color, the farther away I pull back. And the pattern is the Forest Canopy Shawl by Susan Lawrence. Really simple pattern. It's paid for pattern, but really nice. I've got a lot of yarn left, so I'm going to keep going and do it a little bigger than I thought I would, which is fine. The other thing I picked up this week, besides the couple of pairs of socks I have on the needles that I haven't done a whole lot of work on, so there's no point in showing them to you, but think in the vein of 2 or 3 pairs of socks. The other thing that I've been working on that I picked up yesterday again was this. This is the Daybreak Shawl by Stephen West, and it is a paid for pattern. And this yarn is a lovely purple, and it's called Jezebel, and it's by Southwest Trading Company. There's some striations in there, although that's not showing up here, and it almost looks black, but that's what that is. And what I'm pairing it with is this, which is Gypsy Girl Creations, and it's a gradient colorway, so it goes from this color to a orange to a pink to a bluish color. There might even be a deeper blue than that in there, but I can't remember. This is yarn, the fiber, this yarn, the variegated one, is stuff I picked up at Rhinebeck, I think 2 years ago, maybe 2012 or 2011. I've been to 2 Rhinebecks and I didn't go this year. So I wanted to get this done. It's really annoying me that I have all these projects on the needles and it's a little chaotic. So that goes back in the bag. And I'm using an Addy Turbo. I believe I'm using a size 5, US size 5, which is the 3.75. But check out my projects page for that. I started a project this week as well, and there's not much to show on it yet. The project that I started is a sock, and these are on the Haya 2.25 millimeter US size 1 needles. And what I'm using is socks that rock in medium weight. A few years ago, I was going to the CNY Ravelers meeting in Syracuse, and a lady was kind enough to give me a ball of this. Very nice lady. And so that's what it looks like. I'm doing 2x2 ribbing at the top of the sock because I don't like the 1x1 ribbing for socks. I don't think it's stretchy enough. And I did a twisted German cast on. So it's really, really stretchy. You can see how stretched out that can get. So it goes from there to there, almost a third bigger, which is really nice when you're trying to pull on a sock in the winter. And this is 100% merino wool. I believe that the colorway is called Farmhouse. I don't think they're currently dyeing this color, but looking through people's projects page, that's kind of what it looks like. It's a little bit darker in real life, but that's pretty accurate. So it's kind of a mix of colors. And the pattern that I picked to go with it, and I bought it directly from the Blue Moon website, is the Holidaze pattern. Fold this over just a tad. It looks like that. It's sort of purling and knitting, but there's a pattern to it. I'm probably not going to do the pattern on the foot. I'm just going to do it for the leg of the sock, because like I said, I like smooth things inside my sneakers at work. So, and this is a pattern by Ann Hansen, and again, it's called Holidaze. Holidazed. And it uses 1 skein of Blue Moon Fiber Arts medium weight. They recommend US size 1.5 needles, but I have 1. And because I'm a very loose knitter, that's just going to work for me. It came relatively quickly in a few days, and it worked really nice. So I'm looking forward to actually working on those. I think they're going to go quickly because the medium weight is a little, it's heavier than the lightweight, obviously. I believe it's like a DK weight. So this will go very quickly, and they'll be very squishy socks, and I like that. The other project that I started doesn't really have a pattern per se, although I think there's a pattern up on Lion Brand or something. It's a really simple shawl, and what I'm using for that is this, which is Premier Deborah Norville Serenity Garden yarn. And the Seinfeld fan in me, every time I see this, wants to yell, "Serenity now!" Don't ask. But this is a microfiber yarn. It's 185 yards, 169 meters per skein. And I think they call it Draylon. But it's basically, yeah, they call it Draylon microfiber. Draylon translates as acrylic with a fancy name. So this is acrylic. I'm going to throw it in the washer and the dryer, even though it says do not iron, do not bleach. Machine wash, warm water, gentle cycle, tumble dry, low heat, do not over dry. So basically, you know, like your polyester kind of stuff. Your acrylic kind of stuff. You can throw it in the washer and the dryer. I'm doing this, which is a really simple shawl pattern. This is knit 2, yarn over, knit to your middle stitch, yarn over, knit the middle stitch, yarn over, knit all the way to the other side until you're two stitches before the end, yarn over, and then knit the last 2 stitches. On the back row, you knit 2, purl until the last 2 stitches, knit those. So that keeps this garter edge along the edge. It'll be in garter stitch. The rest of it's in stockinette. And then when you get to the very edge, you just do some purling, some knitting, you know, like I usually do a garter stitch hem for, you know, that much or something, or until it lays flat, basically. So it gives it a little bit of weight. This color is called Crocus, and I have 7 balls of this. I was thinking about doing a summer top with this, but The disadvantage of that is it's acrylic. It's not going to breathe like cotton does. And I was like, but it'll keep me warm in the winter and it'll be relatively light because this is in the yarn standards, it's a 2, which means it's fine. It's not a 1 like sock yarn, but it's a little thicker than that. It's basically a sport yarn, and it's very smooth and pretty. It's really nice to touch, and I love the colors. I love purple. As you can tell, since I have multiple purple projects. In the spinning front this week, I've been spinning 2 things. Well, 3 things actually. What I use for spindles, in case you haven't seen these before, if you're new, I use 2 different spindles. One of them is a Luette top whirl spindle, cute little sheep, and it's about 3 ounces. This is just a liter, just a piece of yarn that's on there, that's commercial yarn. So it spins pretty well, and I'm kind of not, there we go. And I use this for plying as well if I do a 2-ply, because a heavier spindle is better for plying from what I've been told. The other spindle that I use is pardon the fuzz on this, because I used this to spin something and there's fuzz on the leader, but I don't care. This is a shocked high-low spindle, and basically what this is, a high-low spindle you can use either as a top roll spindle like this piece that goes across that looks like a little circly biscuit thing, that's called the whirl. That's the part of the spindle that they call the whirl. And then there's a little cup hook up here that you can use to spin. The other way you can use this would be as a bottom whirl spindle. And I'm just going to pull my leader up so you can kind of see. So you could do it this way as well. You could spin so that it spins this way and you flick it or whatever to do it that way. Some people prefer bottom whirl spindles. That's where the whirl's at the bottom versus the top. I prefer the top whirl. It's just easier for me. Being left-handed too, it works out. I think it's a little bit easier for me. This spindle was, I want to say, about 20 bucks, and I bought it, I think the Woolery, or I can't remember who I even bought it from. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them from the Woolery, a whole bunch of people. Really, this is very light compared with this. I think this is less, it's either an ounce or it's less than an ounce, and it works really well. The lighter spindles make finer yarn usually. And what I've been spinning, and I actually got something done. I got this spun up, which is spun right round merino in early frost. She doesn't, when I looked, she currently didn't have that colorway on her Etsy shop, but she does have lots of other colors and lots of lovely yarn, all kinds of stuff. This is wound around a rubber ball because I rewatched the Maggie Casey video that I have that's a direct download, and she suggested using 2 rubber balls if you're going to do a 2-ply, because the rubber ball kind of weights it down as you're plying, and that works really well. I've started another one for the other kind of merino that I'm spinning, which is Malabrigo Nube, N-U-B-E. This is also merino. It's a little bit, the spun right round stuff is a little bit easier preparation than the newbie. or the Nube, whatever it is, the Malabrigo stuff. It's a little bit easier to spin. I think the Malabrigo stuff has gotten a little bit dry, is all I can think with the weather that we have and using a dehumidifier in the house. So I may have to get a humidifier and kind of, you know, baby that so it gets all nice and pretty. And so that goes back together. The other thing I've been spinning is a really nice Shetland, and this is from Whispering Pines Registered Shetland Sheep. It's a 716 area code. I'm sure you can look them up. They were at the Fiber Festival at Hemlock this year that the Yarn Harlot was at, the Finger Lakes Fiber Festival. The picture of the sheep, this is Morning Glory the sheep. This is Morning Glory's robing. Really nice bat, I guess you'd call it. The color is called Moorit, Moorit, and it's sort of a creamy brownie kind of thing. And those are my fingers in there. There's a little bit of variation in it, but it's really soft, really light, really soft. It's not as soft as the Moreno, but it's really nice. And the other, so there were two of these little batlings, little bats in a bag, and I spun one. There's a little core of a little bit of felted wool that's at the core of this, but this is half of about 2.5 ounces of fiber, and it came out really nice. It's more of a woolen preparation. There's a lot of air in it, and I used the Luette spindle that's heavier because it seemed like it liked to be spun that way. I wasn't going to try the other because the Luette is really good for spinning really fast, but somehow it came out really fine. I don't know why, but I'm just going to do a really simple 2-ply out of that, and I don't know what I have for yardage or anything like that until I get all done with it. Apply it together, but check them out if you like Shetland. That's Whispering Pines Registered Shetlands. So that kind of cut off, so I'm going to continue. AC Moore, there's 2 stores in Syracuse. One of them is closing a location, and I believe they're either relocating or they're going to, I don't know if that one store is just going out of business or what. But the other day I went to lunch, they had 40% off of everything, liquidation sale, and so I went in. I got all different kinds of yarn. One of the kinds that I got is Patton's Croy sock yarn. I really like Patton's Croy. It wears very well, and it's relatively inexpensive, and it makes a good sock. So what I got was 4 different colors. One is Rusty Stripes. That's kind of that color. Got all kinds of stuff. The other one is Bramble Stripes. That's sort of a purple, and there's some green in it. A couple different colors. There is Glen Check. That I've made socks out of Glen Check before, I think for a friend of mine. It's just a brown, gray, tweedy kind of yarn. And then the last one that I got is called Singin' the Blues Stripes. So there's all different kind of blues in there. This is 5 balls of sugar and cream dishcloth cotton. Not very exciting. I like the purples and the blues apparently. So that's what I'll use that for. And the last thing I got was a book that was, like I said, everything was 40% off. So I wanted to get this book for a while because the math of doing top-down sweaters, yeah, I can do the math, but do I want to if I don't have to? Not really. So I bought The Handy Book of Top-Down Sweaters by Ann Budd. And basically what this is it's spiral bound. It does all the math for all the different sizes, and then it also does, I'll show you the back of it. It does several different styles of sweater, and the seamless yoke, raglan, set-in sleeve, and saddle shoulder. It goes from the adult sizes go from 36 inches in the bust to 54. There's also children's sizes in there that will go 26 inches to 34. I don't know what that translates in terms of if that's a size 2, a size 4, whatever. But you can check that out on Interweave's website. It retails for $29.95, but again, I got it for 40% off, which was a pretty good deal. And I'm looking forward to using this because top-down sweaters are fairly easy. They're nice because you don't have to do finishing on them. The only thing you have to do is sometimes if you do the seamless yoke one, you have to Kitchener together or graft together the stitches that are under the underarm. But you can even get away with not doing that. There's a couple of different ways to do that. And I like Ann Budd's stuff. I've made socks by her before that came out really well. Just a lot of attention to detail and things like, okay, how do you do the buttonhole properly? How do you do the set-in sleeve correctly? And it's all done. There's all schematics. There's tables, so you basically follow the table down in whatever size you're doing and follow all the measurements and things. It gives multiple gauges as well. The idea being that you might want to use DK weight yarn for one. You might want to use worsted on another. So it gives a gauge of 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stitches to the inch. And it's figured out all that math for you. So you can use, like, say if you wanted a really thick ski sweater, you could use chunky weight. Like, let's see, like so. So this is a bulky weight. That's probably 3 stitches to the inch. And that uses a US size 11. Now, that same sweater in a much finer gauge would be like a worsted weight. So that's 1 down. Go this way so you can see. So it's the same kind of sweater, but it's in a lighter weight yarn. And she gives you design options as well, like how to put in patterning and things like that. So I thought it was a very good deal. So I hope you guys have a great week, and please go to the podcast group, check out what's going on, and go knit something.